and a warm welcome to our Key Stage 4 information evening. With Year 10 students now a few weeks into Key Stage 4, they'll all by now be starting to develop an understanding of the various GCSE and vocational courses they're studying. Not just the main areas of study, but also the key skills that they need to develop. They'll start to know the specialist language they need to be using, how the course is going to be assessed, and the kind of work they're expected to produce. And most of them are settling into a really good working routine with each of their teachers. But often we find that in settling into these routines or patterns of working, they can sometimes lose sight of the bigger picture behind their studies. For example, what's the real purpose behind this course? Why is this a 2-year period of time important for them? Why does it matter so much? And why do we continually encourage them to look beyond their studies and make the most of the opportunities that will increasingly become available to them through Year 10 and into Year 11? And that's what this evening is about. At Uffculme School, our aim is to help every child lay the best possible foundations for the future, so they can go out from here in the knowledge they have the very best possible opportunities available to them. So they really can choose their own path and not be limited. I really want their dreams to be possibilities, real possibilities that are within their reach, not something that's closed off or unattainable to them. So this evening, we want to spend a few minutes talking to you about how the school will help support pupils to lay the best possible foundations for their future. I want to talk about what students need to do to make this happen, and importantly, how you as parents can support your children over the next 18 months in laying these foundations. To help me this evening, I have with me Lindsay Portman, Assistant Head Teacher responsible for the curriculum and assessment here at Uffculme School. And I've also invited along Simon Lane, one of our Heads of Year. And we'll also have the chance to meet 2 ex-students of Uffculme School who recently returned back to share some of what they've been doing since they left the school, and also their plans for the future. And hopefully they'll tell you about how Uffculme School helped prepare and equip them to make the most of their opportunities in life.
Good evening, I'm Lindsay Portman. I'm the Assistant Head in charge of our curriculum. Unlike Key Stage 3, there is a clear endpoint for students. They'll be leaving the school to continue their journey to the next stage of their lives. Targets are a useful milestone for students that help them to focus on this endpoint. They provide no guarantees, but also impose no limits. Targets will help students understand the link between the hard work, what they put in, and what they get out, good grades. A big part of our ethos is encouraging students to always be striving to be the best they can be. Throughout Year 10 and 11, teachers will challenge and support students to go beyond and uncover their full potential. Most of you will have received your son or daughter's report in the post today, or you should be getting it very shortly. Please do take time to look through the targets with your child and have a look to see how they're doing in relation to those targets. Also have a look at the grades. These are projections of the grade they are currently on track to achieve. For most students, we're still early in the course, but they do provide an indication of how things have started and what needs to be focused on and prioritised, if anything. And of course, we always encourage students to look closely at the other reporting grades. These are very much the things that rest in their hands. Those are the things that they can influence. It is clear to us just how well students in this year group have started their courses, and we know if they do continue to work in this way, they've got the potential to do extremely well and achieve great things, even in these difficult circumstances. Most students will now have a good understanding of the types of courses they are studying. They might be all GCSEs or a combination of GCSEs and vocational courses. Many tend to think that if they're doing GCSEs, there's no assessment until the end of Year 11. Or if they're doing vocational qualifications, then there's no exams and it's all continuous assessment. Both of these things are untrue. Many GCSEs contain elements of coursework or NEAs, non-examined assessments, and all vocational qualifications have external exams that count for nearly half the course. So whatever courses students are studying, they will have assessments over the next 18 months, and they will all have to sit exams in some shape or form. We have two key messages for students to be successful. They must know when the key dates are for each course, when they've got an exam or when an NEA must be completed. This is important so they can be properly prepared. They don't have to rush at the last minute and end up underperforming. Our second message, they need to learn the importance of steady application and effort, along with resilience and perseverance when the work gets hard. Their final grades come out of the daily work they put in, not a final push right at the end. While students certainly can make improvements in their grades by revising hard at the end, the reality is those who get the best grades do so through steady, continuous effort across the whole of the course. Whilst we continually emphasise these two key messages to the students throughout their time at Uffculme School, it is really important this message is continually reinforced at home. So that you have a sense of when those key assessment dates fall, we've included a brief outline in the report. These dates, when they're eventually fixed and confirmed, will let you know, so you can always keep up to date and know what's happening. And all of this information will also be on the website. The first big test Year 10 face will be the two GCSE courses they're entered for this summer. Since the start of Year 9, students have been working towards their GCSE RE qualification, and since September, they've all been studying for the GCSE English Literature course. By entering students in Year 10, not only does this give students study time in Year 11 for their other courses, including extra study support time for all students, they'll also be able to include 2 actual GCSE grades on their college applications alongside their predicted grades. This provides really powerful evidence of their potential and can open up courses, post-16 courses that might not otherwise have been accessible to them. Having reviewed all the grades that have gone home on the reports for Year 10 this term, we can see that most of them are well on track to achieve or even exceed their targets, and we really want to commend them for their hard work and efforts in their studies. We know it's not easy, but there are even more things that students can do to get the most out of their remaining time here at Uffculme.
Whilst academic performance is important, at Uffculme School we recognise that this is only part of what matters. We don't just want students to leave with good grades that will open up doors for them. We want them to have the confidence to walk through those doors and make the most of the opportunities that life has to offer. For this reason, a big part of Uffculme School is all the amazing opportunities that it offers to all our students. There really is something for everyone. Not only things that the students enjoy and well within their comfort zone, but equally important, things for them to try and have a go at, things that will stretch and challenge them. We really hope and want to encourage every student to get involved. Some people say that as students get into their exam years, maybe they should take part in less extracurricular and just focus on the subjects. But here at Uffculme, we know from experience that those students who participate and continue to join in fully are the very ones that thrive and do the best. Those that put the most in get the most out. Later this year, a number of leadership opportunities will open up for students as we seek to appoint a new senior council, to appoint our head girl and head boy, and as we appoint our new set of prefects. Every student within the year will have the opportunity to take on some leadership role within the school, to be role models for younger students and to work to make Uffculme School an even better place to learn. These are great opportunities for each student, and once again, we know that the more they put in, the more they will get out. As the year goes on, we will increasingly start to talk with the students about the many post-16 opportunities that are available to them. We want them to start thinking and planning for the future, because the more they have something to aim for, the more it will help them focus their efforts and motivate them to strive towards their goals. Every student will have time with a qualified careers advisor and to hear from and chat with representatives from all of the local colleges and sixth forms. We will also start to help them with their college applications, so that by the spring term in January of Year 11, they will have a clear plan in place for their next steps. Whilst many students really look forward to the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead, others can find it harder going at times. Some students also have other stuff going on in their lives that can knock them back, and we are committed to supporting every student through this time. We want every student to leave Uffculme School in the best possible shape to make the most of all that lie ahead, and really look forward to everything that life has in store. To help our students, we have a great team led by the 8 tutors. Mrs. Alford, our pupil secretary, our student support officers, Mrs. Parkhouse and Mrs. Bilardo, and the head of the Flexible Learning Centre, Mr. Ellis, and all of the staff of the Learning Support Team. And this is in addition to all the teaching staff and support staff who are committed to doing their best for each student. We're all here, and if you ever have a concern, you can get in touch with any of them. In the first place, we'd always suggest chatting with your son or daughter's tutor who you can email, or you can phone the school and leave a message with Mrs. Alford, and one of us will get back to you as soon as possible.
Hi, I'm Lucy. I left Uffculme almost 2 years ago now, and I study A-levels at college, and I will be going to university to study law.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm at Exeter School now, studying my A-levels, and I'm doing maths, physics, further maths and geography. At the minute I'm looking at doing engineering at university, so that's my plan for next year.
It's taught me how to work hard, and I think from meeting other people from other schools, they don't have the same drive, I think, and it's like an Uffculme drive, and it's very specific to Uffculme, I think.
So I think there's so much support from teachers. They're all there to work with you and for you to make sure you can do as well as possible.
Uffculme prepared me to work hard at my A-levels, because at college, if you don't work hard enough, then you will get kicked off the course. And not only has it prepared me academically, but I've been prepared for UCAS and the university process, because I added on my personal statement all the experiences that I took part in at Uffculme, because universities want a well-rounded person, and I think all the opportunities I took part in at Uffculme helped me demonstrate that.
Yeah, I did all sorts really. So I was getting involved with sport, 10 tours, and then there's the academic things too. So there was TED Talks that we went to. But I think overall it's the fact that you're getting involved in lots of things, it prepares you for the workload, so you learn to manage your time well. And then when you're coming on to doing whatever you do next year, or when you leave this school, you'll be prepared to manage doing lots of different things alongside your schoolwork.
So I was in numerous sport teams, hockey and netball. I was also in the senior council, I was deputy head girl, and I took part in Aspire, and they all helped me in different ways for sure, but senior council helped me work on my public speaking, which is really important for the career I want to go into.
So your teachers will have been helping you throughout your time at Uffculme, and particularly now that you're in the older years, they'll be focusing on you more than perhaps the younger ones, because you're, in their minds, the most important at the minute. So yeah, just speak to them. They won't be able to read your minds, but if you speak to them, then they can find out what they need to help you with, and they'll be very happy to help you.
Definitely, they gave up a lot of time to help me understand, and you shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help, because you are studying something that's really difficult, so you need to be able to ask for help, and that's also an important life skill, definitely. And I think it's just seeing how much they cared about us doing well is really important, because they want you to succeed, you want to succeed, and then together, hopefully that will bring a positive outcome. I think it's both. I think it's the atmosphere that it creates, and so it sounds cringe, but it's cool to do well, I think, and that's important because everybody wants to fit in with their peers. So if everyone else is doing well, you want to be able to do well, and it shouldn't be just because of that, but I think it's both the staff and the students for sure. I think they understood the pressure that the students are under, and so if I was ever stuck on something, then they would work with me until I understood, and I think that kind of support is invaluable in succeeding, because if you have that support base from not only your parents and your teachers, then that is really, really helpful for a student.
What I'd like to do often is maybe those revision guides you get given, I'd work on a chapter, give them the book after, ask me some questions on this, and then they'll obviously pick up what you don't know. Even if they don't really know about the subject, they could just ask you, read part of it and miss out a word, see if you can fill in the topic words.
I would say, number one, most importantly, encouragement. And number 2, it's encouraging them to be kind to themselves if they're struggling, because especially with the situation we're in now, it's understandable if you're finding things difficult. So I think it's teaching the children to have a kind mentality towards themselves.
I'd say the biggest thing is when you make mistakes, you might have just had your mocks back, focus on the mistakes. That's the places where you can learn most. It's good if you get things right, obviously, because you know it. But if you don't know it, that's where you need to improve. So focus on those things, look at how you can improve them. And if you can't work out what you need to do, speak to a teacher. Again, they'll be there for you. And they'll be keen to make sure that you know what you need to know as well as you can know it.
I think definitely stay committed from the start, because you'll be thanking yourself later. If you put in no effort now and expect to make it up all in like year 11 or the last couple of months leading up to your exams, you are going to be so angry with yourself, because then you won't know what you could have achieved if you don't do as well as you wanted.
So I remember my tutor, Mr. Beach, once taught us there was this curve to do with learning. So effectively, when you first learn something, you know it really well. Then you forget that quite quickly to begin with. Then as you revise that thing, you learn it well, and the next time you'll remember it for longer. So each time you revise something, you'll remember it better. So sort of when you're doing your mocks, you might think, oh, I'm going to forget this all by the time it comes to GCSEs, but you'll know it better and it will stick with you for longer each time you revise it. So just keep plucking away at things along the way. Don't leave it all to the last minute, or you'll forget it fairly quickly once you've had a go at it. And also, if you work on things earlier, you'll find your areas of weakness sooner, and then you can focus on those things and pick them up better.
I decided early on that I wanted to do law, and I know how competitive the field is, and universities look at your GCSEs, and so I thought it's important to work hard now, and I'm being kind to my future self by taking that pressure off me. If I do well in my GCSEs, then I have something to back myself up. It also gives you self-confidence, because you can go into college knowing that you deserve to be there and that you can achieve if you work hard.
I'd say you want to be working hard for your exams for yourself. You're the one who's going to be putting them on your CV or whatever when you're going to college or wherever you go after this. You're the one who's going to have them with you for life. So you'll be working hard for yourself, not for your parents.
I'm going to say I nearly didn't go for head girl. I nearly didn't go for senior council because didn't think there was much point in me doing it. And in the end, it was kind of a bit of coercion from my parents to do it. And I was so glad that I did it, because it's taught me how to speak in public, it's taught me how to be confident, representing myself and other people. And again, it went on my university personal statement, and that looks really impressive.
Don't leave it all to the last minute. Just take it steady all along the way and you'll be fine. You'll do well.
As I said at the beginning of this evening, we all share a common goal in wanting to see your children use this time to lay the best possible foundations for their future. And I know that if we all work together, that will happen. There are 3 key areas I would really value your help with over the coming months and into next year. The first one is in prompting your children when there are key deadlines coming up. Not only to meet those deadlines, but to allow enough time to properly prepare for them. We want them to showcase their full potential at each point. And in order to do that, they need to be able to do it properly without rushing it. And so it's important that they can work towards those deadlines in the right way. After all, a good grade on a piece of work can really boost their final outcome. But equally, a weak grade can undermine that. So to allow enough time for it is really important. Secondly, we would really value your help in encouraging your children to keep going and not give up. We sometimes talk about the story of the tortoise and the hare, and there is that strong element of truth within that tale. that actually working steadily at something, working consistently at something will produce the best outcomes. And that's what we want. And thirdly, and equally importantly, is reminding your children to take care of themselves and their well-being, to strike that right balance between hard work and effort and also having some downtime. Just as some need sometimes that prompt and that nudge to get back to their studies, others will need that prompt to step away from their books and allow themselves a bit of time and space to relax and unwind. And often as children, they lose that perspective. So we really value you having, as adults, that insight and being able to help steer and direct them. And I'm sure if we do all of those things, together we're going to see the best possible foundations being put in place for your children. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you have any general questions, you can email us at the address which is coming on the screen now. But obviously, if you know that there's a particular question you need to direct to an individual teacher or tutor, you can contact them. Apart from that, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really value everything that you're doing to support your children through these times. Thank you. Good night.